Hello, and welcome back to Mortal Shell. In this second video, we're going to do a little bit of shopping. We're just going to get some things that we want to use on our playthrough, which will then set us up to move forward. We will try and kill the mini-boss that's, if you think of other games, a world boss, as it were. He's just out in Fulgrim. We'll give that a go. If we die, we die. You'll get to see the death mechanic. Otherwise, we'll hopefully beat him. Let's see. Let's get up. So, before we start, we need to meet someone else. So upstairs, there's a couple of things here. I'll just show you one of these. These are where the weapons would be had we found them. So this is where this sword would go if we're not using it. And we can sense the instinct of one, so let's do that. So that was a mace. It doesn't mean much right now, but as you start to move around Fulgrim, you would get a feeling of where that was. That was just a... Look at this guy. With his big old birdie head. We'll come back to him. We'll just look at this first. This is our workbench, and at the moment we can upgrade this weapon with 2 items, which we don't have. This item here, quenching acid, weirdly washing a weapon with acid increases its strength, so rather than making it rot away, we can find those items, and there's 2 we can buy, so we'll go meet the merchant in a second. And if we acquire the tools, which the merchant sells as well, although they are very expensive, we can build what is effectively this world's bazooka. I will be getting that at some point, but the ammo is quite scarce, so you need to think about what you're going to fire it at. So if we go out here, grab this item, you can see where we are roughly. That's the door I just came out of, is underneath us. And we're going to go that way in a minute. But first, let's go and meet Vlas. So he's up these stairs, and he's a lovely fellow.
Oh my, aren't you a rare specimen? Rather dashing in that curious attire. And what of on the inside? You must be a gentleman. Certainly not one of those boorish fanatics. Welcome then. I'll warp some tea. In the meantime, why not take a look at my wares?
So he doesn't move, he's always here, and he doesn't appear anywhere else. So if you want to buy from him, you have to come back here.
Surely there's something you'll fancy amongst my collection.
He's got lots of stuff, some of it infinite. That's convenient that that's infinite, because once the Rotten Autumn pack is available, we may need to purchase some of those to get the extra skins. We can buy 2 of the acid, which we will be doing once we've got 5,000 tar. That's going to be my priority before getting any more skills, I think. You can buy the bolts, the bazooka I mentioned, and those are the tools for it. So they are expensive. 8,000 might not seem like a lot, but in this game that is a lot. It's not like Dark Souls where you start getting more and more souls. You really don't. So that's going to take us a while. And if you want to get achievements, make sure you do this. I've already got it, but that would have popped an achievement right there. So we'll go meet the guy with the large head now. It's just done it again, like, get over here! Ah, okay, there's 4 of that type of item that's just there. if I had a different weapon, it's an unlimited use item that would switch me back to this weapon. So you can weapon switch, and you can do that mid-combo. So you can do quite a lot of things. You can be starting an attack with this weapon, chain it into one of the others, which we'll pick up in this video, and so on. So the only thing we can do, because he's not a talkative chap at the moment, is this.
That's better. Thank you. It's been so long since anyone raised a hand toward me in kindness. You seem different, untouched by false truths. Unfortunately, I have little to offer you, save for that tarnished seal in your hands. A small gift, but I expect you will find it useful. Would you grant me another favor? Deep within the temples of the devout, you'll find the sacred glands of the revered. Bring the glands back to me, so I can extract the true nectar, just enough to heal me. Perhaps you too can use it to free yourself from this wretched land, before you end up like me.
So we've just been given the tarnished seal. The old prisoner has gifted you the tarnished seal. It enables you to parry enemy strikes, interrupting their attacks. The seal will also warn you of incoming unparryable strikes. It will glow red, quite a large glow as well, so it's quite obvious. So if we hit L1 at the right time, we will parry. And we can also riposte. The old prisoner has infused the seal, giving your parry the ability to leave an enemy vulnerable to an empowered riposte. The seal requires great resolve, 1 full bar, to harness such an infusion. Performing an empowered riposte will heal you. So, healing items are fairly scarce, so this is a good way to get a decent chunk of health back, if you can get the parry right. So if you parry when you don't have any resolve, you can see the 2 bars in the bottom left, then it generates 1 bar. So it's always worth doing, because it puts an enemy off balance and generates resolve if you've not got any. And it gives you a minute to breathe. So he's tasked us in a weirdly almost Liam Neeson taken voice to get some glands. So, I mean, standard request, isn't it? We're not going to do that. Not yet. We're going to go get some stuff. These 2 items here respawn, so we're going to get them whenever they're there. It's a 5-minute timer, so that's the healing mushroom, the red one. And this one stops you being poisoned, and that is a relatively common thing here. Right, this is a risky thing we're going to do now. There's a chest in front of him, and I want it, so let's see if we can get it before he hits us. Yes, we got it. So that's that. And he's following me, so I want to carry on down here. If we'd have looked at where Solomon's shell would be if we're not using it, it would have told us to come here. I should have done that really for the video, but let's continue. So you can kind of see him on the floor behind there. Let's kill this guy. See the seal glowed red then. If I'd have not done anything, that enemy would have pounced at me and bitten my neck like a vampire. Also, and a happy aside there was that this happened. I was trying not to do that, because one of Solomon's abilities is that if you do things like this, he gains a glimpse, so he gets extra currency for leveling up. But these are hidden in the world, and I don't know where they all are, so that's not part of what this Let's Play is going to be. But if we find any, and the ones that I do know, we'll activate them when we're Solomon. And it gives you a bit of lore, so... And what of my kin? Are you reading this, dear brother? Do you remember how we played at Scholarship? Simpler times, when our quandaries were mere dramatics, dressed up as a theory. Based on how Solomon speaks, which we'll hear at some point, I think that's him. so we have Solomon. We don't officially know that yet, but we do. And he's more built around resolve, so he's got a bit more health than Haros, and he's got similar stamina. I think it's pretty much the same. But he has up to 5 resolve bars, and he generates it more quickly once you start upgrading him. And it's what powers, yes, your ripostes, but also your ability, weapon abilities, which we're going to go and get one now, and then we're going to come back and hopefully kill this guy. So I could have done this weapon bit first and then killed it after getting Solomon, but we'll do it this way around. So to do this you need to go back to the workbench, or there are anvils located in various places. So you can see on the left we can now add this upgrade, the mechanical spike we found. So with with enough resolve, which is actually 2 bars, I think. Doesn't actually say there, but we can do L1R1, which will do a pretty hefty attack. So it will kill most smaller enemies in one, or it'll dramatically injure some of the bigger ones. But it'll do a decent chunk to Grisha when we get to him again. So let's go. And it gives us full resolve doing that, so that was kind of the idea as well, with not getting Solomon first. Sorry, Solomon after. So now we can do this twice before we even start the fight properly. Here he comes. Should give you an idea of some of his attacks. You see we do hardly anything to him, but that does a chunk and knocks him over, so we get a free hit as well. Yeah, I was just going to say you have to be careful behind him because he will get you. So that was an empowered riposte. Away from that one. Oh god, he's going to get me through that. So when he's not doing the jumping attack, that one will go through Harden as well, which the game doesn't tell you, but it will. Okay. We ran out of stamina. I'm gonna use one of these. Shit. Got a bit of health back then, not loads. Okay, so unlike every other enemy, he won't come back. So he's gone, and that's that. Normal little enemies, they'll come back once we talk to Sesta or die. I think we have to trade with Sesta actually, rather than just talk to her. So these are back, so we will collect them. We're going to go and get the unbreakable loot, because the one I have will shatter, so we don't want that. So that's the best attack to harry and riposte with those guys when they jump. It's very easy compared to the other attacks. And it saves us using a mushroom, so it's always good. I always kill these guys when I'm here, just free experience basically. So you don't know if you noticed the seal like did an animation then, that was showing us that we had enough resolve to do a riposte. Not to be confused with the unparryable attack one. I'm trying to get us to 2 bars of resolve here, but it starts to fade if you stop attacking. We've already got 1 bar of resolve, we don't get another, so you only gain a bar of resolve if you've got none when you do a parry. Just something to remember. And watch out for bear traps, because they'll get you. But we can bait enemies too, which is a nice little touch. Come on, fellas. Some enemies drop items, but there's not many that do. It's very rare. And these 2 guys were going to try and get us. We don't actually need to go that way. So yeah, the loot I play at the start and end of videos, that will break. There's one in the game that won't, so we're going to go get that. There's a big one, isn't he? Got a friend. Right, let's get him. You can see that the enemies actually lock onto you, so you need to be careful because I am not paying attention. There's a mushroom here, so we'll just replenish that one we just used. And you'll see it doesn't heal much, it's only 30 health and I think we have over 100, so... I'm not going through here, I just want that. I will heal because we are going to quite a few enemies here. It's in your best interest to not bring everybody along for the ride. So, if I'd have brought both of them, that would have been much more difficult. There's just no need. Some more lovely, lovely red. Oh yeah. So, yeah, just checking nobody was sneaking up on me there. So this camp here is where the guy with the unbreakable loot is. He's sat playing it, and we want to take it from his cold, dead fingers. So... So this is what the loot actually does. So you see how it brought him to us? That is what it does. So it incites rage into enemies. Just checking in. Yeah. How'd you die? Jesus Christ. Come on. Oh, goody. Got Big John as well. Ah, as if we missed. Okay. So we might as well build up resolve when we can, so there's no need to use a weapon skill on him, for example. We will on him. So normally this guy would have aggroed by now, so let's try and isn't that nice? And one of the things you can do in this game, I said before you can't pause it, you can. So this has paused the game, and it's also photo mode. So you can do quite a lot of stuff with this. There's some really powerful things in it. Lots of different filters. You can do depth of field, so we could go here. Just get Solomon in focus and leave the other guy. It's quite cool. And you can do all sorts of colour changes, etc. And then you can even hide things. I don't know if this shade will work. It does. So when the DLC is available, this is what you get. So you get different shades. That's my favourite for our guy Solomon. Can actually take that because it's pretty good. That's what we're going for. And then, yeah, we're back. And you will die. So the impervious loot is now ours. And we're back to 0 familiarity because it's a different item. So, we're just going to go and meet Gorf, and then I think we'll call this video there. I am poisoned. So, that was a nice little dodge there. The tar spore mushrooms actually damage you at first, so you need to use them twice as quickly as you can to get full familiarity, which gives you that 2 minutes of immunity to poison. So I think we're going to get chased by an enemy here, which is not ideal. But this is Gorf, which is an anagram of frog. And when we want to change our, well, to get access to the new skins when we can, you feed him, and he will then barf on you, which changes your skin. So we'll do that when we come to it, not now. You son of a bitch. So as I said, you can see I'm not paying attention, and I'm also not getting that many experience of the tar. Like, we need 2500 for one of the acids, so we're going to have to do a bit of grinding, which I won't bore you with when we come to do that. what we will do, even though we need to get to 2500,
Slowly now.
is just show you an ability wheel before we finish the video. So this just costs tar, so we'll do it.
Existence is a curious matter. The greatest triumph in the universe, gifted and squandered. I shan't make the same mistakes as my brother. When the moment comes, I'll exercise restraint.
So every time you do anything on this wheel and actually get an ability or get the name, you get a little bit of story like that. So that's the character's voice, Solomon. We know what he sounds like and we know his name, and he's a scholar of sorts in heavy clad armour. But we can have a look at some of his skills, so I won't read them all out, but this is the one I mentioned where you get a glimpse for reading lore for the first time, so I'm going to get that one first. It might seem like a waste, but it's not, because we need a lot of glimpses for all the other stuff. So when you get separated from your shell, he gets a bonus to how long you last before enemies actually start moving again. When we've got a gland, we get a buff, which we'll see when we get one. I can heal, or have a chance to, when using a weapon ability to actually kill an enemy. He has to kill them. And killing them with an empowered riposte has a chance to restore all resolve, which is really good. And again, a small amount of resolve when being struck whilst hardened. The Recollection of Death is probably the most interesting one to get on everyone for the lore, because it's about how they died, based on the name. But it also means that the little meter that I mentioned, where if you get knocked out of your shell it goes away, you can get that back. So you can effectively potentially never die if you're good enough, as in truly die. Every character gets these three at the bottom, by the way. They're not unique, the larger ones are, so every character also gets the ability to harden in the air, which does a smash into the ground. Aerodrims does a lot more damage because he's a big dude. And you can kick, which is really useful for enemies with shields because it'll shatter a shield, so we will get that one pretty early too. Solomon also gets resolve when speaking to NPCs, so they're all of his. We're not going to take one now. We're just going to save up some tar. Play a song for all the shells, I guess. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.